Okay, in the first lesson we met the type string and we did a little bit of work with the string. Now we're just working in the shell here. I'm just going to show you some mathematical operations. Python's got a lot of maths built into it already. So it will do things like if you just type in 2 plus 2, it will give you 4. To do multiplication, if we wanted to do 2 times 8, say, we need the star operator here, which you get from shift and the 8 key. So 2 times 8 would give you 16. And we're working with the type integer here. And integer, a lot of people think of integers as whole numbers, but be careful, mathematical definitions. Some people say whole numbers only go from 0 upwards. So we're talking about negative numbers as well as positive numbers here. So we're talking about things like negative 16, 0, 14, 2, but we're not talking about things like 2.3. That's a type float, and we'll look at that in a second. So we can subtract as well. If we just do 9 take away 2, that will give us 7, and so on. We can do powers, and there's a couple of different ways of doing that, but let's suppose we want 6 squared, which we know is 6 times 6, but if we want to do it as 6 squared, what we do is 2 stars, and that should give us the answer 36. Now if we do 18 divided by 6, that's fine, that will give us 3, but notice that it's given us 3.0. So that's not giving it back to us as an integer, it's giving it to us as a float. Now we can force it to give an integer by typing in int and then do 18 divided by 6, and that should give us 3 as an integer, not 3 as a float. Now an interesting one is, what if we did instead 18 divided by 7? Now that doesn't exactly go in, so if we do that, that gives us a float with all those decimal points. And we can't just put into that because it isn't an integer. We can't just lose the decimals. But we can force it to do integer division by doing the following. If we go 18 // 7, how many times does 7 go into 18? It goes in twice. We can get the remainder if we do a percentage sign, shift and 5, and so 2 7s are 14, so 18 should give us a remainder of 4, and indeed that does. Now note that Python does know the order of operations, so it will know its BIMDAS. If we do 3 plus 4 times 7, that will give us 31, and not do the 3 plus 4 and then multiply that by the 7, which would be 49. So it knows the order it should do things in. Now we could put some of this together with what we learnt before. So we could say to print, now remember this is going to be a string at the start, so I'm going to say that 18 divided by 7 is, close the string, and then I'm going to do, so I'm going to add that to another string, so I'm going to put str, which turns a number type, either a float or an integer, into a string, and I'm going to put in here 18 /7, which we know from up here is going to give us 2, and then I'm going to put in remainder. Let's put a space. Probably should put a space at the end of this one, otherwise it'll all be bunched up. So remainder and str, and then we want 18 percentage sign 7, wrong bracket, close the bracket, and then we need to close the bracket again. And if I enter on that, 18 divided by 7 is 2 remainder 4. At the end of that remainder there, I probably should have put another space. I can't actually do that, but I could copy that, paste it here, just make it look a bit nicer by putting a space after the R there. And if we enter that, there we go, that looks better. 18 divided by 7 is 2 remainder 4. So you can see how we can put strings and calculations together and get a nice output.